500 million people can manage their period safely, and climate disasters make it much worse. So a girl out there right now is missing school because the floods took away the supply she needed to manage her period safely and with dignity. And even though this seems like a huge problem, it occurs in under 1% of national climate plans, while water and sanitation are nearly half. The solutions do exist, but the problem is deciding who gets them first, and that's why we built this model. So over here, you can see that every district is being scored by our menstrual health climate vulnerability index, and under the hood we have 18 formulas that combine climate exposure, social vulnerability, and coping capacity into one score. Every color is calculated, nothing is guessed, and you can click on like any district to see why it ranks that way. So first I'm going to switch the region, and we have like a bunch of regions, and for example you can click on Dharavi and you can see what is behind the score, why it ranks where it does. And one thing we took into account when making the formulas was we multiplied the essentials instead of averaging them, because if a community has if it has pads but no clean water, the actual capacity is near zero. So averaging will hide that, and multiplication would not do that. So we took that into account when making the formulas. And another thing to note is we have something called dignity days gap. So firstly, a dignity day is if a person has had one proper day to manage their periods safely and with dignity. And the model measures every problem in dignity days lost and the solution in dignity days restored per dollar. So it converts the abstract vulnerability score into something that's countable. We also have a stimulate cyclone options. So when you a natural disaster happens, of course the vulnerability score will increase and then kind of decays back to its original value or a lower value. And you have to note that vulnerability scores are not static, they're dynamic, they change, and we also take that into account in the model. Then we have a field note translator, so a person working on the ground can type in their observations. So for example, we have some preset observations, so flooding in slum, it will translate that into model inputs and the model will update. We also have a stigma correction thing, which we're proud of, because in a place with high stigma, of course, it's very underreported in clinics, so we have to scale the score back up. And for policymakers, of course, a budget allocation tool. So there's a limited budget, so do you help the most people, or do you try to reach the high risk marginalized communities? So as I move it from efficiency towards equity, you can see how it changes, and we move from urban cheaper to reach areas to those very isolated communities. And of course we have the price of equity feature, which is what we're really proud of, because it kind of shows all the trade-offs and it's very honest about it. It shows what is being sacrificed, which communities are being left behind, and how many dignity days we're trading, and etc. And we also have the model weight, so you can change around, it's not a black box, and see how it affects the results. And thank you. This is presented by Team Cyclex.